and determining the tone of this contest if Mepham can win the Battle Royale here in the center circle to start. And they are going to redo it as Gianna DeSanti going mano-a-mano here with Honorkamp. So this is a junior against a sophomore. And the ball goes sky high, and it is going to be Honorkamp that scoops it up and gives Mepham the first opportunity. And they are coming off a loss to Carl Place 15-6. That was last Thursday. They have been outscored 88-27 during this current 6-game skid.
And both teams have rough goal differentials, no sugarcoating it. I think both teams, the emphasis has got to start on the defense today and build off of that. If you can get stops, get in transition, a few goals, it might just be a few goals is all it takes to win this game, and a great start for Roslyn on the defensive end.
As that is DeSanti. She's going coast to coast, but a little bit too much mustard behind that toss towards the goal. And it will stay with the Bulldogs as they have plenty of time on the shot clock. Laskowitz is a player to keep close tabs on. If you're Mepham, number 11, she's in the slot. Played as a freshman, started as a sophomore, taking on even a bigger role here her junior year. A lot of traffic in the mix here. Off the right side, as Roslyn is going to now be able to benefit here from a free position. Lily Allen, the senior midfielder with 7 goals this season, as she charges towards the net and pushes it through for lucky number 8 to give the number 8 seed, thanks to number 8, a 1-0 lead.
Got to be able to take advantage of those opportunities on the doorstep from the 8 and the 12-meter line. You get a free head start, and Allen takes advantage. A burst of speed right off the whistle, and none of the Mepham defenders can catch up, and she's able to bury it past Lettieri, and Roslyn draws first blood. Always important to get that first goal, and the Bulldogs get it here with 10:08 left to play in period number 1.
Lauren Lopez very high on Allen, who is having a great season and just added yet another chapter. As off the draw, it again goes airborne, and it is going to be the hustle of DeSanti, but she stepped out, could not keep everything in play, and that will give it to Mepham here as they'll have a chance to tie this game with under 10 minutes to go in the first quarter. Mepham turned it over on their first possession as we see Callahan, the junior midfielder, who is always learning and always looking to add to her craft as they go down low. And that shot behind the goal. And it'll be a restart here for the Pirates, as Madeline Warner gave it up to Honorkamp. And it is going to be now a free position opportunity for the top goal scorer for Mepham and a chance to tie this game up. She's got to solve Abraham, and as she goes right to left, a little premature there. So the false start is going to give her yet another opportunity. Honorkamp one-on-one against Abraham. Honorkamp makes her move, goes right to left, and bangs it through to tie this game at 1, as we have had a goal for each team off the free position.
Yeah, Honorkamp right off the whistle does a great job maneuvering around a couple defenders. Weiser was in there for Roslyn. So was Pavlunas. but a great job feeling it out down low on the doorstep, and she's able to go low past the goaltender, Abraham. And you mentioned it, Lance, both teams taking advantage of their free positioning, and we're tied at 1 just about 3.5 minutes in.
Mepham head coach Jamie Mataluno says that she has never coached a player with so much determination as Honorkamp, who is just pure hustle, and she has improved immensely in terms of her approach to the game, relying more on her body than her stick, and I think that was the latest example of her movement with the ball, was still able to get through the heart of that defense, and another big win for Mepham. So far, so good, Roman, in terms of them winning the battle in the center circle.
Yeah, definitely. It helps when you have someone like Honorkamp who can really do it all, and she uses her frame and her size to her advantage. Despite being just a sophomore, she's one of the taller players on the field, so she can use that to her advantage when trying to go up and jump for it or just trying to out-physical the opponent. She's been able to do that so far. So Honorkamp has already made her mark on this contest, but Mepham unable to turn the draw control into points, and Roslyn now sets up their offensive positioning.
Honorkamp getting her 40th goal of the season. Here's Laskowitz, and she unties the knot with her 32nd goal of the season, and the Bulldogs are back in front.
Yeah, that was a nice little move by Laskowitz, kind of juking back to her right. Take another look at this. To her left, then whoop, I'll go to my right as well. Top shelf, how you doing? 2-1 Roslyn.
Mickelwee and Badillo were both trying to sandwich her in, and Laskowitz had other plans. One of the things that Lauren Lopez talked about this week is Laskowitz is her own critic and her biggest critic. She's so hard on herself. After a game, regardless of the performance, she always knows how many shots she misses as opposed to how many shots fall through. But that is going to go down as a highlight for her. And now Roslyn back in possession thanks to DeSanti.
Yeah, that's kind of like a double-edged sword, because if you're too strict on yourself, that could kind of bring you down mentally. But when you're able to identify your weaknesses and build off of them and improve day in and day out, that is just so important as an athlete.
Laskowitz and DeSanti playing catch. DeSanti off the dodge. Looks to hammer it home and does so with emphasis. Her 23rd goal of the season, and they cushion their lead. It is 3-1.
That just seemed too easy for DeSanti, using her quickness. Moves to her right, working around 3 or 4 Mepham defenders, and it doesn't matter as she goes low with a little bit of a bounce shot past Lettieri, and Roslyn has got it going early on offense. Already 3 goals through the first 5 minutes.
And it's been the 2 players we highlighted off the top of the broadcast, Laskowitz and DeSanti, 1 and 2 in goals scored this season coming in to this game, and they are both cut from a very similar cloth. As Lauren Lopez says, they go hand in hand in terms of their approach to the game. The mission of the Long Island Metropolitan Lacrosse Foundation is to spread the positive spirit of lacrosse and support the highest ethical standards for all participants through annual initiatives, including targeted grants, scholarship programs, lacrosse educational clinics, and events to raise awareness and resources in support of the game. And we see the programs that they support and organize: Shootout for Soldiers on Long Island, Lax Like a Girl Tournament, and officials observation programs, just to name a few. And we commend the Long Island Metro Lacrosse Foundation for their hard work and appreciate their support and sponsorship of today's broadcast, as this is the Class B first round 8-9 matchup between Roslyn and Mepham, with the Bulldogs out in front 3-1 with just under 7 minutes to go in the first quarter. They met in the regular season right on this field. It was a 10-7 win for Roslyn, and the offense has looked sharp immediately, especially when you talk about the 2 midfielders who have been out in front of the pack all season long. Laskowitz and DeSanti have not disappointed, Roman.
Yeah, they sure haven't already. And through the last time these two teams met, each of them had 2 goals. So came into the day licking their chops, and they've already converted 3 times. The Bulldogs out to an early 2-goal lead. These are 2 girls that were selected all conference last year and have really backed it up with tremendous 2026 campaigns this season. And Roslyn off to a great start in these playoff games. Hey, it's a full 4-quarter battle, but it helps to get out to a great start, and Roslyn has done just that through the first 5 minutes.
Especially when you know the team you're going up against has had issues scoring throughout this season and also has been involved in several lopsided affairs recently since the 10-7 loss here on the road against Roslyn. You look at April 30th, they lost to Bethpage at home 19-4. They then visited Calhoun. They were on the wrong end of a 14-3 affair. Then they were back home for Seaford, another 14-3 margin, and then 15-6 to Carl Place. So it has been a lengthy period of time, Roman, since they've played a competitive game come the fourth quarter. But the last time it did happen was against the Bulldogs, who they're squaring off with right now, and Roslyn with yet another possession.
Yeah, Mepham, you've got to get a stop here. And when you've had a tough season like they have, it's easy to maybe get out of it or get down on yourself, check out a little early if you've fallen behind. But hey, this is a playoff game. You've got to stay locked in all throughout. The game can flip on its head like that, the snap of a button. So you've got to stay dialed in all throughout.
Laskowitz is dialed in, tries to feed it to DeSanti. It's a ground ball and is going to end up in the cup of Lettieri.
Yeah, the Mepham defense has got to help out Lettieri a little bit. She's been pressured, blitzed through the first 6 some odd minutes here in Roslyn. So the Mepham defense, they can lock in a little bit, buckle down, help their goaltender feel a little bit more comfortable here on the road.
And a lot of it has come from that slot area. Mepham off the clear. Nearly coughs it up. And a high pass down low intended for Warner is broken up, as there has been quite the battle on the right side of this field, and this is going to end up in the possession of Roslyn.
Yeah, suffocating defense from Roslyn forces the turnover, and they get out in transition. And let's watch Lily Allen run. She works the sideline. Great job to give it up. Oh, but a turnover.
And back and forth we go. So the Pirates, perhaps, out in front of the pack with Fatizzi, as they will now look to work it around the perimeter and wisely get it into the stick of Honorkamp. As it'll be Sienna Barbarino who will take over with plenty of time here on the shot clock, looking to make this a 1-goal affair. Honorkamp is trying to facilitate. Barbarino with 6 goals and 3 assists this season. Off the dodge, draws the double, the pass down low. And instead, Fatizzi's going to go into the X position and lose control of it. Is Roslyn's defense with another takeaway.
Yeah, it looked like Fatizzi had a little bit of an angle just to the left of Abraham along GLE, but a great job coming in from behind. DeSanti knocking her stick, forcing the loose ball, and the GB goes the Bulldogs' way.
Goldberg to Laskowitz. They can't get a clean shot there from Rhine, but there was some physicality and contact in the mix, no penalty, and a clean stop for Lettieri. But off the ride here, up the field, led to a bit of a collision. However, Mepham is going to hold on to it. And this is going to be a critical possession for them with just over 3.5 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, offense has been quiet. They do the first step, which is to clear it. And now they can settle into their offensive set. An open look here.
Callahan leaving it in the slot, and that shot is denied by Abraham. Right in the area of point-blank range. and they fall short, the Pirates, as Roslyn maintains a 2-goal lead.
Yeah, that's an impressive save from the sophomore. Point blank, she says no, throws up the X's, and Roslyn's going the other way.
Some missed opportunities for Mepham. And now the Bulldogs can milk some clock here, as they have done a really nice job getting everybody involved, and the numbers certainly show that over the course of the season. But they are putting the pressure on this Pirates defense, and a bit of a check there down low on the left side as Goldberg took the brunt of that. So she is going to have a clean restart here as they go left to right, and that shot is going to end up wide. That was Ryan Rappaport. 35 seconds on the shot clock. As they were looking to get it into the X position and just could not handle it cleanly. That was Kaylee Ryan, the sophomore midfielder, whose older sister also played here at Roslyn and set the school record with 325 points. And she is now playing at Jacksonville University. She graduated in 2024, and the Ryan family has some group of athletes. Her father, Stephen, played hockey at Hofstra professionally in the Northeast Professional Hockey League, and then mother, Kristen, was an All-American lacrosse player at Siena, and it is going to be Roslyn taking back possession here with just over a minute to go.
And Kaylee herself has been spectacular this year. 19 goals, 4 assists, totals out to 23 points. Also a soccer player in the fall.
As I mentioned, that is some athletic family, as Casey, her older sister, also played volleyball when she was here at Roslyn. So Lauren Lopez utilizing a timeout here with just over a minute to go in the first quarter. We have seen Abraham handle her business inside the pipes. The lone goal, Roman, that she gave up was a free position shot outside of that, and there have been instances where she was left out on an island in this first quarter.
And she's been up to the task pretty much every time, and Roslyn is using their defensive success to build off of that on offense, and I really like what I'm seeing from this Roslyn offense. It's flowing really well right now. Everybody's getting involved, moving players left and right. They're finding the open pockets in the defense, and they're exploiting maybe a late slide or a late switch from Mepham, and they're exploiting that and have tallied 3 goals already. Bit of a lull in the action past few minutes, but Roslyn's got to like where they've played, how they've played, pardon me, through these first 11 minutes.
As their last game was here at home last Thursday, they lost to Oceanside in a high-scoring affair, 17-11. Prior to that, dropped a 12-5 decision at Locust Valley, and then fell to division on the road as well, 8-4, as we see Jamie Mataluno talking things over with her team. And we mentioned when we went over her profile that she is a former Mepham player, but really not that far removed, Roman, from playing at her alma mater. So, you know, one of the things that she had talked about, because normally when a coach comes in, you're trying to put your own stamp on things and take the program in a different direction, but she felt that she inherited a lot of positives, given it's not that far removed from her own playing days. So that has helped a bit in terms of her transition, as the previous coach actually was her head coach her senior year at Mepham.
And Mepham has had playoff success the past few years, 4 straight Nassau County semifinal appearances, so that is on the line today, but they've gotten to the semifinal each of the past 4 seasons, so they've had success, and unfortunately for them, bit of a drop-off this year, but playoffs, anything goes, anything can happen, and a win today would be huge for this team and this program after a bit of a tough year.
Well, it's the old story. Once you get in, you never know what can happen. The old cliche, records don't mean much of anything once you get into the bracket. It's all about, can you handle your business and duplicate your production, and they know they were in a tight one not too many weeks ago here at Roslyn. And that shot is going to go behind the net in the final 30 seconds of quarter number 1, with DeSanti now taking over. Shot clock is off. DeSanti, the jump shot, and in perfect position, none other than Letary for a save.
Yeah, made that one look easy, and she's just going to let the clock run out. A big-time denial as the quarter comes to an end keeps Mepham within 2.
So the first 12 minutes in the books, and it is the 8th seed, Roslyn, with a 3-1 lead over number 9, Mepham. And they could thank Leah Abraham for keeping them in front with a beautiful denial off a transition opportunity for the Pirates as we step aside on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
This is Brennan O'Neill, and you're watching Varsity Media.
For all the latest Varsity Media updates, including our game schedules, be sure to follow us on social media at Varsity Media, the home for New York high school sports.
Back here in Roslyn, New York, with the Bulldogs ahead of Mepham 3-1 as we get set to start quarter number 2. Roslyn with a goal from Laskowitz as well as DeSanti, the top 2 goal scorers on the season, and Lily Allen off the free position. That was her 8th of the season. Mepham getting a goal from Honorkamp, her 40th of the year, as she entered with a team-leading 39 on the season. And now a big opening draw to the second quarter, and a chance for Mepham to cut into the deficit if they can win on the draw. And you saw Honorkamp likes to elevate things, and this is going to be in favor of the Pirates as they will have the first possession of the second quarter.
Mepham's got to establish a little bit of an offensive identity here in this second quarter. Very slow on the offensive side in the first frame. So chance to bounce back, get off to the right foot on the wow, I cannot speak. Get off on the right foot to the second quarter, and a chance to just get something going. I think it's got to be a full team effort, but it's got to start with Honorkamp.
It's been a marathon day. This is broadcast number 2 for you, Roman, so it's understandable that even us in the broadcast booth sometimes get a little tongue-tied as trying to get closer to a knot formation is Mepham here off the free position. Caitlin Callahan, the junior midfielder, straight ahead on Abraham. And excuse me, that was actually Madison Badillo. And just off the mark, as the Pirates have had some early chances, but they cannot capitalize.
Yeah, and those free position shots especially, you've got to find a way to finish those, and a missed opportunity there from Mepham. Roslyn goes the other way with speed.
As we see, Laskowitz does not waste any time. That's why she is such a critical player, because it's not just her scoring efficiency, but it's her ability to get them into their offensive flow.
And if you play with speed, you can catch the opponent a little bit off guard. You get one step ahead of your defender, chance to find an open look. But how about that play on defense.
And a great takeaway for Mepham, as that is Badillo looking to make up for the missed free position shot. She is just a freshman, but after suffering a concussion earlier in the season, she suffered that in the opener, so she missed a lot of time. She actually returned against Roslyn on April 25th, the regular season game. She had a hat trick, and since then, little by little, she's starting to get her legs back under her, and that has been a welcomed addition back into the lineup for Jamie Mataluno.
Yeah, it's been a huge boost, especially if she can produce on both sides of the ball. We know she can score on offense, but an excellent defensive play. And how about that finish from Honorkamp?
And that is going to be her second goal of the day, number 41. As Mepham continuing to close the gap, they pull within one, and that's what happens when you get a defensive takeaway. You look to turn it into offense on the other end, and that is exactly what Honorkamp does.
Goes left and whips it on net, sneaks it past Abraham and her left elbow, and Mepham cuts the deficit in half. They're back within one. Still early doors in this second quarter. Now, Mepham, their defense has locked in the past few minutes, and they've kept Roslyn off the scoreboard. And Honorkamp, it's a matter of time before she produces and she tallies goal number 2 this evening.
Her lacrosse IQ is on a whole other level, and Mataluno, their head coach, just loves her ability to rip shots towards the net, and that is exactly what she just did. And she is also a basketball player. She won Defensive Player of the Year for the conference. And a lot of the skill set in basketball is transferable to lacrosse. You could say the same thing about soccer. And this is going to be another possession for Mepham, as we're starting to see their defense get into rhythm with Sienna Barbarino leaving it for Mickelway and seeing whether or not they could jumpstart their offense. And that is going to be a heck of a save for Lexi Barbarino, but she throws it away, and Roslyn is now cooking with DeSanti getting out into the open field. And there was contact en route towards the opposite net. A bit of a slash.
And that almost works out for Mepham because DeSanti was running down Main Street, engine chugging, ducking away from defenders, a ton of speed as she motored down the field. That had trouble written all over it for Mepham and goalie Lettieri, but almost fortunately for Mepham, the penalty stops play and forces DeSanti to power down, and Roslyn will get a restart from about 25 yards away.
Yeah, to your point, Roman, if you're Roslyn, you probably wish there was no whistle so that you could have seen maybe whether or not you got a high percentage shot on goal, as we saw Parisi coming from behind, and then Lexi Barbarino fronted on the play. She did not make contact with DeSanti. It was more of Parisi from the backside. And now they are hunting for a shot on goal, as DeSanti is going to leave it towards the left wing. As they have plenty of time on the clock. Maybe too much unselfish play here on display. And Ryan is going to take over with 50 seconds. Roslyn trying to restore a 2-goal lead, and that pass in the slot is blocked by Lettieri. A jump shot that was anticipated beautifully by the Mepham goalkeeper as it came out of the stick quickly from Ryan.
That actually, I believe, hit Parisi, who is positioned right in front of the net, and she absorbed that shot, and they actually whistled play dead, I believe, to make sure she was okay. She took that one right in the midsection, but using her body to make the stop, and in a playoff game like that, it hurts, but you move forward and you work for the greater good. And actually, we've got 2 penalties at the moment, one on each team. and the Mepham penalty is going to expire first, so they'll go on the man up, but turnovers won't help.
For Roslyn, it's against Rhine, and then for Mepham, it's against Lexi Barbarino. So under a minute to go on the Mepham penalty, a minute and a half on the Roslyn penalty. So as you just referenced, Mepham is going to, at some point, have an advantage since they are not in line with one another, and Roslyn was hit for a lengthier penalty. And here come the Bulldogs, though, in possession. With Lily Allen, the feed in the slot, and again, Letary off the left side was in proper position for the denial.
Yeah, that's a huge stop to keep Roslyn off the board and keep it the deficit at just 1 for Mepham. And let's watch Hunter Camp run as she streaks down the middle of the field.
She's got players on the wing. Instead, she's going to keep it herself and flush it through. Hunter Camp with a hat trick as she gets the better of Abraham, and it is a 3-3 knot here in quarter number 2 of this playoff game.
We mentioned that Mepham was going to need a full team effort, but with the way Alexis Honorkamp is playing, she might be able to carry them to the victory. She's on an absolute heater right now. 3 goals, up to 42 on this season. Just remarkable stuff from a sophomore, and she is shouldering the load in all areas for Mepham, and she's tied this game at 3, halfway gone in the second quarter.
They continue to grind it out, this Pirates team, and right after scoring her 3rd goal, she's back in the circle looking to win yet another draw. Honorkamp can do it all, but this time did not see where the ball went. As her and Laskowitz continuing their battle. It's still on the ground. Laskowitz, multiple scoops, and the 3rd time is a charm as Roslyn now has a chance to reclaim the lead as Laskowitz heading towards that X position.
Yeah, great job by Laskowitz, kind of just outworking Honorkamp, so to speak, and Honorkamp did take a bit of a tumble, and Laskowitz is able to calmly scoop it up after hacking at it for some time. But it's just those plays, those 50-50 plays where you got 2 players duking it out, and Laskowitz being able to earn possession of that ball is just so huge, and Roslyn's able to establish themselves in an offensive possession, but have a little bit of trouble in that far left corner. Goldberg is double-teamed, and they do whistle play dead.
Mickelwee and Callahan applying the pressure. Here is Allen. And feeds it down low, and that went off the crossbar as that came out of the stick of Laskowitz. We had contact in the middle again. Let's take another glance at this as Allen dumped it off to Laskowitz.
That's a tough shot. It hits the stick of Letary, then hits the crossbar and bounces back, but free positioning for Laskowitz and a chance for goal number 4.
As Laskowitz loads up and the bouncer goes wide. So it is going to stay with the Bulldogs here with 20 on the shot clock. Goldberg in possession. Goldberg with a spin, and she takes the brunt of the contact. No penalty. And it is going to be Mepham that will have a chance to come the opposite way. But that was short-lived. They could not clear it cleanly. And here we go with Ryan Rappaport across the field trying to get it to DeSanti. Helter-skelter play with both teams. And the Bulldogs will look to get it out on the perimeter. As DeSanti sandwiched in, she draws more contact as they have had the mentality of getting as close to the goal as possible today.
Yeah, and in girls lacrosse, where you have sticks with shallower pockets, it's harder to shoot from far out, so you have to get close in order to have an accurate shot.
And DeSanti accurate but unfortunately, Lettieri stood in her way, and we remain tied at 3.
Lettieri had a bit of a slow start, but she's really settled in nicely through these past few minutes. But Mepham really having issues clearing the ball out of their own defensive third. Fortunately, a whistle goes to their advantage, but
as Jenna Apicella was trying to slice through a pair of defenders. With just over 3.5 minutes to go, Mepham, if they could hold on to the ball, could have a chance to move in front, but instead, Roslyn with another takeaway. DeSanti, a woman on a mission, in and out of traffic, and she will draw more contact from Mepham with a chance now for the Bulldogs to capitalize.
yeah, she took it upon herself, dove right towards the net, took the brunt of the collision, but earned the free positioning. Maybe tried to do a little bit too much there, but she earns the free positioning, so it works out. You had Laskowitz right there to her right if she wanted to.
As DeSanti lets it fly and pushes it through for her second goal off the free position, and it is Roslyn in front again, 4-3.
Yeah, and it works out. Second time off the free positioning for her through the 5-hole. And goal number 4 for Roslyn. They're back in front with 2:54 to play in the second quarter.
Yeah, she took the hit from behind by Apicella. So we have seen DeSanti score twice, Laskowitz once, and Allen once to account for the 4 goals for Roslyn. And every time Mepham appears to be seizing momentum, Roslyn's done a really nice job in either getting a takeaway, creating a change of the positioning of the field, and putting themselves and their offense back in prime position. And this is going to be a win for DeSanti, scooping it up, as now Roslyn will have a chance to pad its lead with under 3 minutes to go in the first half.
And Mepham's really shot themselves in the foot on multiple occasions with turnovers and failed clears, and that especially worked out for Roslyn in that previous sequence. They were able to use a turnover to establish a lengthy offensive possession and eventually get a goal. Mepham's really had a tough time getting out of their own offensive third, and in a playoff game like that, those are the problems you've got to minimize as much as possible.
Well, you go back to the keys, Jamie Mataluna emphasizing needing to win the draw controls to gain extra possessions. They've had some trouble there, and communication on all ends of the field. And they have not been in sync. Off another free position shot, it is going to be a padding goal for Roslyn. Kaylee Ryan, welcome to the party. Her first and 20th of the season, and Roslyn is back up by 2.
Yeah, already a multiple-year player despite being just a sophomore, so she's got that varsity experience even though she's still very young, and that's just so important and so helpful for her, especially in a playoff game like this. She's not fazed by the playoff atmosphere, and she calmly tucks that one in that corner and puts goal number 5 on the board for Roslyn, back up by 2 with 2 minutes to play in quarter number 2.
4th different player to score for the Bulldogs. And now it's Ryan in the circle with Honorkamp. And Roslyn's going to come out with possession, as they could milk some clock here with about 75 seconds on the shot clock. So when you look at the game clock, you can milk it, but instead urgency shown by Hannah Goldberg, who turns and connects for her 21st goal of the season, the 5th different player to score for Roslyn, and they are starting to gain rhythm on the offensive end.
And a terrific feed by Laskowitz. She looks one way, dumps it down low. An amazing cut to the front of the net by Goldberg. She just has to turn and shoot, and she scores. And Roslyn has doubled up Mepham. And 98 seconds left to play in the second quarter. Bulldogs are not done. And this is a chance you can really, put the game out of reach and really go for the kill, so to speak. If you're Roslyn up 3, scored 3 in a row, Mepham was reeling a little bit. chance for Roslyn to really add on here in the final 98 seconds of this half and go into halftime feeling really good about where you are in this playoff game.
And we talked about 10 is the magical number when Roslyn can score double-digit goals. It usually indicates good things, and then when they keep their opposition under 10, it's also a huge positive omen, and they are more than halfway home to 10 with 6 goals. Mepham, with over a minute to go here in the first half, as Honorkamp has accounted for all of their scoring. Can they get somebody else involved? Callahan off the dodge. Shot clock and game clock are just about even, and that bouncer off the mark for Sienna Barbarino from the right side. And the ground ball fought for by both teams, and it is going to be Roslyn coming out of things with Casey Berger, the younger sister of Josh Berger, who led the men's team to a win earlier today in their regular season finale as they extended their winning streak to 6. Laskowitz surveying the field, was looking for DeSanti. And there were a few sticks in the way on the left side. So we'll have a restart here with 10.3 seconds to go in quarter number 2.
And Mepham's really got to buckle down here on this last defensive stand. Can't give up a goal here. That would just be so detrimental heading into halftime.
Off the spin, Laskowitz can't hold on to it. 5 seconds to toy with. Rappaport, the feed to Goldberg. And did we have some contact on the shot release? It looks like we may have some more activity to sort out here at the tail end of the second quarter. It was Goldberg getting the feed from Rappaport on the right side, and as she released the shot, it appeared as if she was hit. So it is going to be a penalty against Mepham, and hard to tell from that angle, but they did get the penalty against Kylie Mickelwee, the senior defender for the Pirates. So that is going to end the second quarter. Laskowitz getting on the board for Roslyn. And then an offensive clinic for Honorkamp, one of her 3. And here is yet another as she creates all by herself. It was tied at 3 at one point, and then 3 unanswered for the home team as Goldberg tosses it through to give Roslyn a 6-3 lead here at the break on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Now is a great time to book a sportscast with Varsity Media. What sets our sportscasts apart isn't just the quality of our production, it's the knowledge, passion, and professionalism that our announcers bring to every game.
It's Merrill. Oh, look at a fake by Merrill. There's the spin again. Gary Merrill is not human. Touchdown, St. Anthony. Profeta! Profeta! 1-0, Garden City.
Our commentators research athletes and highlight storylines that matter to your communities. Our approach creates a broadcast experience that not only informs, but elevates the athletes, giving the kind of recognition usually reserved for professional levels. Varsity Media's announcers make sure that every athlete has their moment. So book a Varsity Media Sportscast today, and let's get your team the recognition it deserves. You've seen the dedication, the long hours, the early mornings, the sacrifice. You know your athlete has what it takes, but how do you make sure the right people see it? The recruiting process isn't easy. Coaches are flooded with highlights. But how do you stand out in the crowd? At Varsity Media, we specialize in creating game-changing ISO videos, high-definition, athlete-focused footage that highlights exactly what college recruiters want to see. With our up-close ISO video, we capture your athletes' key moments. No more wide angles showing other players. This is just your athlete's pure, raw talent. This is more than a video. This is the opportunity your athlete deserves. Give your athlete the edge they need. Make the right impression with Varsity Media's ISO video service. The future starts now.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream partner of Nassau County Championships. To live stream fall, winter, and spring championship events, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Now accessible on smart TVs. Varsity Media is your home for the Nassau County Championships. Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is 75,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck. Hey parents, coaches, and players, ever wonder what makes Varsity Media stand out as the tri-state leader in sports live streaming and videography?
Well, I've been working with Varsity Media for, 14 years. When we have video needs, whether that be a game, whether that be a practice, whether it be social media, it's nice to know that somebody understands what we're looking for without asking for it.
We started working with Varsity Media back in 2021, and since then they've been an absolute game changer, putting our event on the map. Varsity Media couldn't be a better partner, and if you're looking to optimize your event, I couldn't recommend them anymore.
It's been great for us. You know, the kids really get excited when they know that Varsity Media is going to be here. Not just what's happening on the football field, but all the excitement that's around it. It really boosted the environment here, and everybody gets really excited for what's going on.
Varsity Media is reliable, professional, and their quality work is fantastic. It's like watching ESPN. The announcers are unreal, really do a great job of speaking to the coaches to get the knowledge of the players, the season, what's going on with the team. There is nothing better than Varsity Media doing a live broadcast.
If you'd like to book with Varsity Media, reach out at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
And we are back here in Roslyn, New York, with the Bulldogs leading Mepham 6-3 as we get set to start the third quarter of this Class B first-round playoff matchup. It is the 8-9 seeds going head-to-head. The winner is going to advance to play top seed Garden City. And this was a 3-3 game in the second quarter, Roman, and then Roslyn scores 3 unanswered goals. Honorkamp has a hat trick, but it seems every time Mepham is looking to steer in the opposite direction, they've had problem clearing, they've had problem holding on to the ball.
Yeah, you said it. They've had problems clearing. They've had issues getting out of their own defensive third, and Roslyn's taking advantage. They've been able to force those turnovers, pick up the ground balls, and go the other way. And they've got 4 different goal scorers out of the, 5. Couldn't count, but 5 of the 6 goals have been scored by different women. DeSantis got 2. Laskowitz, Goldberg, Allen, and Ryan have all registered goals today for Roslyn, but Mepham will start the quarter on a man up due to a dangerous follow-through by Hannah Goldberg to finish the second quarter. So a huge 2 minutes for Mepham to start the third quarter, a chance to get a goal or 2 and get back into this game, reestablish some momentum, and get yourself feeling good as this third quarter goes on.
Yeah, it was 14 against 14, but it did not go against Mickleby. Instead, to your point, they got Goldberg on the follow-through. And now a chance here for Mepham in the slot. It's a ground ball, and there has been a lot of contact in that area. But here we go with Roslyn taking over and slowing down this Pirates offensive attack, which they've been doing pretty much all game long.
Yeah, it looked like Caitlin Callahan from Mepham had an opportunity right in front of the net, but charging in from behind was DeSantis. She knocked her stick and caused her to fail to catch the pass that was coming in, and the egg hunt on the floor went Roslyn's way, and now the Bulldogs have an offensive possession, and they will get into their play with just about a minute gone by in this third quarter.
Laskowitz out of that X position. She had a goal in the first half. Holding on to the ball has been problematic for both of these teams. And now Mepham will have a chance for a redo, and that may be short-lived. You got to keep your head on a swivel in this game because you just never know who's coming from behind. And now DeSantis in control with an extra possession for Roslyn.
And again, the issues of Mepham trying to clear the lacrosse ball, they pop up once more, and Roslyn forces the TO, and let's watch Laskowitz go to work on Mickleby.
Laskowitz feeling the pressure from Mickleby, who you just mentioned. She is looking for an opening. And she takes a hit in the midsection from Honorkamp, and you can see she is a bit shaken up. So they're going to allow her to collect her breath. It'll be a restart for Laskowitz and company. And Goldberg taking over. Laskowitz off the curl, and how Lettieri stopped that, I will never know. It was a difficult angle for Laskowitz, but Lettieri put the cup in position to secure it.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Lance. It looked like the shot came from behind her almost, and she got a piece of it and was able to collect it in her stick. Just an impressive stop from the sophomore to keep this a 3-goal game. Playoff game, huge stop there to keep the deficit at just 3.
3 minutes in to the third quarter. Callahan had nowhere to go, so will wisely give it up with 50 on the shot clock. This Pirates offense leaning heavily on their top goal scorer, Honorkamp. A hat trick for her. 42 goals on the season. She is in possession. D'd up by Laskowitz. Honorkamp off the dodge with 30 seconds on the clock for Mepham. And she was giving it up to Callahan. So they're going to reset the shot clock here with just over 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. And it'll be Callahan leaving it for Honorkamp. Now making her move right to left. Throws it in off the bounce. She got it past Abraham somehow off the ricochet. The Alexis Honorkamp show is up to 4 goals.
And she took a bit of a hit, too, as she released the ball. Excellent play. 4 Roslyn defenders surrounding her, and it doesn't matter. Goes low, and the bounce catapults over the stick of Abraham into the top echelon part of that goal. And you mentioned it, Honorkamp continues to impress. 4 goals, all 4 of her team's goals to her name today, and she is single-handedly keeping Mepham in this game. Pirates now down just 2.
You saw it was a bit of a hesitation. She was slowing things down, then went into her dodge, and she was able to get the better of the Roslyn defense, and now no plays off for her as she wins it all by herself in transition, and now will give it up on the wing as Mepham has a chance, at least they thought, to close the gap to 1, and yet another turnover will bounce in favor of the Bulldogs, and it is going to be Lily Allen slowing things down and forcing Mepham to get back into its defensive set. That has been the story of this game. The Pirates winning at times, but not able to hold on to the ball. As Rhine tries to make her move. Laskowitz nearly coughing it up. Defended closely by Callahan, as that was 11 on 11. So Laskowitz will have the restart. In the slot, gets it to DeSanti. DeSanti thought maybe there would be a penalty. She wasn't able to get as much behind that shot as she wanted. And Lettieri leading the break. And here come the Pirates as that shot is broken up from Sienna Barbarino. Could not get it on goal. The Bulldogs interrupting the Mepham transition game, and their offense will head the opposite way. Another run here, and a goal for DeSanti. Her third, she's got a hat trick, number 25 on the season, and it is an added layer of cushion. It's 7-4.
The speed from DeSanti outrunning her defenders. Mikowi is there as she shoots, but that's no problem as she sees a hole and she finishes, able to slip it past Lettieri. She's got a hat trick, and the Roslyn lead is back up to 3 with 5:50 to play in this third quarter.
And Roman, you look at what happens on one side of the field, completely changes then the dynamics of this game. You had a good look for Sienna Barbarino. Shot couldn't get through. Leads to a transition opportunity. DeSanti leading the break, and the rest is history.
Definitely. She used her speed, got out in front of the pack, and Mepham was just one step too slow getting back on defense and sliding to stop DeSanti in her tracks. And the Mepham defense just a little late. DeSanti took advantage and scored. How about that move right there to get around the defender?
As Ryan gets it to DeSanti on the wing. And another possession here for the Bulldogs. Is every time Mepham has closed the gap, Roslyn has issued the proper response. A lot of action in that slot area. And Mepham comes away with it with Ava Parisi, the senior defender, who is heading to Russell Sage College to play soccer. It is her footwork that makes her a standout player. And absorbing the contact from behind is Badillo. Wiggling in and out of traffic. The freshman midfielder. Looking to give her attack a chance as we close in on the 4.5-minute mark in the third. Off the dodge, that shot partially deflected by Abraham. That was another good look for Sienna Barbarino, who is back here in possession. Look at the curl around, and Abraham somehow keeps it out of the net. It almost went off of her stick and in. She did a bit of a juggling act to keep this a 3-goal lead.
Yeah, two-part effort to that stop. She got the initial save, but the ball popped up in the air and kind of hung out along the goal line. Some great awareness by the sophomore to recover, to find where the ball is, and to pick it up, and to start the transition break for her offense.
DeSanti not wasting any time, gets it inside to Goldberg, returning it to DeSanti. No clean exchange, but Goldberg is there to scoop it up. Is Roslyn looking to pick up the pace. Allen from the top with 38 seconds. And as she was trying to come around the screen, a turnover here for the Bulldogs. But Mepham cannot clear it cleanly. That has been their Achilles heel in this game. Badillo feeling the pressure, and if you blinked, Roslyn now has yet another chance with under 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, the Roslyn ride's been amazing today. It's caused so many problems for Mepham trying to get out of their defensive third, and that just led to so many more opportunities and just more time on possession for Roslyn, which takes away opportunities from Mepham and just gives Roslyn a lot more of a cushion.
The one thing that Jamie Mataluno, the head coach of the Pirates, said they could not afford to have happen. You cannot give the Bulldogs extra at-bats, to use the baseball analogy. Allen. Inside-outside action as Goldberg draws a lot of attention and takes the brunt of that hit from the triple team. So with 2:06 to go, it'll be a free position shot for Goldberg, who already scored her 21st goal of the season. A player that never comes off the field, lets it rip. And it was Letary getting a stick in the way. And a huge stop there for the sophomore goalkeeper. But as we have seen, the inability to clear it continues to plague this Pirate squad.
Just unforced error after unforced error has really been detrimental to the Mepham cause today. And Roslyn just gets another offensive possession, and they've got time. They could take this all the way down to the end of the quarter if they wish. I believe if the clocks will end at very similar time, so pretty much the last offensive possession if they wish.
Just about in sync. But we have seen aggressiveness showcased by the Bulldogs. They have not taken their foot off the pedal. And right now it looks like Lily Allen is looking to set up a teammate. Ryan can't handle it. It goes into the stick of Letary, And Mepham now will have a chance with the shot clock off and 45 seconds and counting in the third. As they get it across midfield. That was Honorkamp.
She's been everywhere tonight. Offense, defense, clearing, draws. She's been the heart and soul of this Mepham team. An A-plus effort from her, but will it be enough, especially if Roslyn zeroes in on her and takes away her abilities, forces her to give it up, and we've seen the rest of the Mepham team has struggled mightily today.
So here is Madeline Warner on the free position. A tough angle with Abraham right in front of her, guarding that left side. So instead, fakes the toss, the extra pass. Honorkamp looking for an angle. 8 seconds and counting. Down the stretch we go with the third. The bouncer too high over the crossbar. And that is going to do it for the third quarter, with Roslyn taking a 3-goal lead into the final 12 minutes of regulation, as Alexis Honorkamp has accounted for all 4 of Mepham's goals, but a little bit more distribution for the home team. DeSanti, she's got a hat trick. Abraham has got a magic trick, making the stop in between the pipes with a 3-goal advantage for Roslyn as we head to the fourth on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Now is a great time to book a sportscast with Varsity Media. What sets our sportscast apart isn't just the quality of our production, it's the knowledge, passion, and professionalism that our announcers bring to every game.
It's Merrill. Oh, look at a fake by Merrill. There's the spin again. Gary Merrill is not human. Touchdown, St. Anthony. Profeta! 1-0, Garden City.
Our commentators research athletes and highlight storylines that matter to your communities. Our approach creates a broadcast experience that not only informs, but elevates the athletes, giving the kind of recognition usually reserved for professional levels. Varsity Media's announcers make sure that every athlete has their moment. So book a Varsity Media Sportscast today, and let's get your team the recognition it deserves.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for upcoming schedules and content, and on social media at Varsity Media.
Back here in Roslyn, New York, with the Bulldogs leading Mepham 7-4. Roslyn the 8th seed, Mepham the 9th seed. The winner will advance to play Garden City here in Class B. This is a first-round matchup. It is a rematch from the regular season. It was a 10-7 victory for Roslyn. That was back on April 25th, and here we are with both teams separated by 3 goals once again entering the fourth quarter. But no matter how this game finishes, Roman, if you're Mepham, you're going to go back and watch this film. You're going to play the coulda, woulda, shoulda game in terms of all of the missed opportunities that have piled up.
Yeah, a lot of unforced errors, and you mentioned it. What if that didn't happen, or what if we were a little cleaner in this area? And Mepham, they've still got a quarter to work with. The game is not lost, and they're only down by 3. Kudos to their defense for stepping it up and keeping them in this contest. And the goaltender, Olivia Lettieri, has done her fair share of work as well. But Mepham, it's just too many unforced errors, too many poor passes and missed catches, and that's given Roslyn just that many more extra opportunities.
But here is a win off the draw. Badillo drew in the attention. We'll see whether or not that could open things up a bit out on the perimeter for a Dodge chance. Honorkamp, the extra feed to Sienna Barbarino. A bit too high. It'll stay, though, with the Pirates. Here's Lexi, Sienna's younger sister. Sienna's a senior, Lexi's a freshman, who mainly plays out of that X position, but they both work that right side. It has created some chemistry. Off the curl, Sienna Barbarino again. And this time wide, but the Pirates will stay in possession with 30 on the clock.
An encouraging start to this fourth quarter for Mepham on offense. The elder Barbarino's had a couple of good looks, just hasn't been able to connect.
Mickelwee. As Honorkamp takes over, and you can see DeSanti is all up in her grill. A little over-aggressive there. It is going to result in a restart here for the Pirates. And they have to reset the shot clock, so that is what is holding up play. As the shot clock right now is showing 0. So they're going to put 15 seconds on the shot clock with Honorkamp in possession at the top. And the feed intended for the cutting Sienna Barbarino, not in line. And you can add that to the laundry list of turnovers in this game for the Pirates.
And a great job by Lily Allen for Roslyn, hustling to that loose ball in the near left corner, picking it up and establishing possession for her squad. And we've got a timeout, it looks like, as looks like Roslyn's going to talk things over.
As they took back possession following the takeaway. So while Lauren Lopez and company talk over strategy, a reminder that the mission of the Long Island Metropolitan Lacrosse Foundation is to spread the positive spirit of lacrosse and support the highest ethical standards for all participants through annual initiatives, including targeted grants, scholarship programs, lacrosse educational clinics, and events to raise awareness and resources in support of the game. And you're going to see all of the initiatives that the Long Island Metro Lacrosse Foundation is involved with. High School Unsung Hero Awards, 9/11 Memorial at Farmingdale State, the Wheelchair and Special Needs Lacrosse Clinics. We commend them for their efforts and thank them for their support and sponsorship of the broadcast. As we are here in Roslyn, New York, and it is the 8th-seeded Bulldogs in front of number 9 seed Mepham, 7-4, just over 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Out of the timeout, it will be Bulldogs possession. It has been a balanced attack. DeSanti leading the way with a hat trick. Laskowitz, Ryan, Goldberg, and Allen have each scored, whereas on the opposite side, it has been Alexis Honorkamp. She has scored all 4 goals. She now has 43 on the season, and we've talked a lot about the turnovers for Mepham, and that's probably another reason why it has not been as balanced attack, because of the missed possessions and the missed chances.
Yeah, the Pirates as a whole have just struggled in many of the areas of this game, and Honorkamp has been the silver lining, and it makes sense for head coach Mataluno and her staff to just ride the hot hand and go to her. In a playoff game like this, it's win or go home, so you got to throw out all the stops in order to keep your season going, and if that means relying mostly on Honorkamp, then that's the answer. But Mepham, you like to get a little bit more production from the rest of the team, and Honorkamp goes down.
And that is not good news for Mepham, as she was out on the track and went down awkwardly, and now off camera is in a lot of pain, being attended to by the training staff. And she was going after a loose ball and just seemed to take a step that unfortunately put her in a precarious spot. So this is a significant development. The top goal scorer, who has scored all 4 goals for Mepham, is down. We'll step aside on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
This is Brennan O'Neill, and you're watching Varsity Media.
Alexis Honorkamp did get up with assistance. She is now on the bench where she is trying to regroup. We don't want to speculate in terms of what she may be dealing with. Very hard to tell, but you see there is a shot of her on the bench. And right now, they are going to be without the services, Mepham, of the player that has accounted for all of their goals. And this is now a chance for somebody else to answer the call and step up as Jenna Apicella loses control of the ball. And Roslyn still fighting for it. Hannah Goldberg getting into the mix. She's going to come up with it. And perhaps a chance for Laskowitz off balance. Did not get it on point. And Mepham dodged an absolute bullet there.
Yeah, every goal that Roslyn can tack on here would be just so huge for their efforts, especially with Honorkamp out for Mepham. That's their top goal scorer. It's been their offensive production all evening. So if Roslyn can get one or two more, could probably put this game to rest. But a huge defensive denial by the Pirates D unit, and they go the other way. And you mentioned it, Lance. Somebody else is going to have to step up. I'm keeping my eye on Sienna Barbarino. 9 points. We've seen her a couple times get some good looks down low. She's got to find a way to throw herself into the mix and to crack her name into the score column and provide a much-needed boost of energy for this Mepham offense.
Well, after Honorkamp, Gianna Farley is right behind her, but there's a noticeable disparity as she has 12 goals compared to the 39 that Honorkamp came in with, which is now, of course, 43. Then Ellie Meyer is out due to injury. She has 8 goals for Mepham, and that was a critical loss. They've been without her for the last 3 games. She helps break down zones. She's been on varsity for 4 years. Significant experience that she brings to the table. So they've been a little bit underhand in recent weeks. That's why Honorkamp has been so key in jump-starting their offense and creating it. We saw her in the circles as well as creating her own shot. Off the restart, that pass a bit too high, intended for Apicella, and Abraham was there to pluck it out of thin air. But off the takeaway, Mepham maybe with a chance. Laskowitz interrupting things, and another big stop for the Bulldogs.
And the wherewithal to guide it to her goaltender in out of harm's way to pick it up and end the threat from Mepham.
So here comes Laskowitz. And she is trying to solve Sienna Barbarino. And Laskowitz, with those quick maneuvers, will earn a restart for her team as we head towards the 6.5-minute mark of quarter number 4. No goals yet here in the 4th. This game was tied at 3 in the second quarter. Since then, Roslyn outscoring Mepham 4-1. I should really say it's Roslyn 7, Alexis Honorkamp 4. As DeSanti now takes over for the Bulldogs, being boxed out, loses her footing. And Roslyn will restart yet again. DeSanti with a hat trick. Still behind Laskowitz on the season. Here's Goldberg. And could not locate the net on that release. And with the shot clock winding down, it is going to be Mepham that will take over.
I think a smart play there to play the dump for Roslyn makes Mepham have to go the length of the field, and as we know, they've had trouble getting out of their own zone. This time they do, but the long pass isn't going to work out unless Roslyn is whistled for a penalty. Yes, they are, so Mepham keeps possession for the moment.
And that has been the philosophy of the Bulldogs. Let's see if the Pirates can get out of their own way, essentially. We're not going to overdo it. We're not going to try to put ourselves in a troublesome spot and open the door for the Pirates. Is a timeout taken here with Mepham talking things over, trailing by 3 goals with just under 5 minutes to go. Reminder, you can stay locked to the varsitymediapass.com to order all Nassau County playoff action. Varsity Media is your home for the 2026 Section 8 championship, as this is just the beginning of that pathway here in Class B, round 1 between Mepham and Roslyn. The 8-9 battle to earn a trip to collide with top overall seed Garden City. And Roslyn is about 5 minutes away from adding an exclamation point to what will be their 4th victory of the season, and an opportunity for them to see if they can start to pick up things on offense. We mentioned 10 is the magic number, and they were on pace when they were at 6, but it's been quieter here in the second half, yet you still have had the intensity where it needs to be, specifically on defense, to prevent Mepham from making any indent in this game.
Yeah, the Roslyn defense has been on its game all throughout, just 4 goals allowed to 1 player. So they've been able to minimize Honorkamp to an extent, and the rest of the Mepham offense has just been silent all throughout. And huge shout out to the goalie, Leah Abraham. She's had a more than formidable performance in net, a couple fantastic saves, showing reflexes remnant of a senior. She's just a sophomore. Time to grow, time to improve and develop her skills. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from her in net. As I mentioned, a couple great saves, and she's kept Mepham off the board on multiple occasions. Could have been a whole different ball game.
Well, Lauren Lopez has been blown away by her dedication to her craft. She works with breakout goaltending during the offseason. That has helped elevate her game, and she will just do about anything to stay on the field. There was actually a circumstance earlier this year where, unfortunately, she was in the hospital, and she still showed up for the game that day. So if that doesn't speak volumes in terms of what she means to the team and how she has put the team before just about everything else, then I don't know what to tell you. And like you said, sophomore, that means you still have 2 more years of her service moving forward, and she's just scratching the surface of her true potential. And the Bulldogs off to the races yet again with DeSanti. With under 4 minutes to go, Roslyn just trying to milk this clock. They jumped in front early. It was 3-1. Honorkamp scored 2 goals to tie it. But the turnovers, the inability to clear, has been something that has come back to bite the Pirates. And Roslyn hasn't necessarily always capitalized, but has continuously kept the pressure on their opponent.
And they've owned the time of possession battle too, which has just minimized opportunities for Mepham. And even though Roslyn hasn't had the greatest offensive game by any standard, still 7 goals is solid. And in a game like this, it's enough. Survive in advance. You live to see another day. That's all you need in a playoff game.
Laskowitz thought a penalty would be called, and Goldberg just could not hold on to it cleanly. But it will stay with the Bulldogs as the shot clock now just expires, and it will go back to Mepham. Now No harm, no foul there for Roslyn, as once again the goal was just milk the clock and not turn it over to give a gift to the Pirates.
A good sign to see Alexis Honorkamp back on the field, although it might be a little too late. 3-goal deficit with 2 minutes left. Might be all she wrote for Mepham, but still great to see Honorkamp back on the field and that she is doing just all right.
And she went down awkwardly on the track surrounding the lacrosse field and then walked gingerly to the bench. Needed some time to recuperate. So this is going to be a 2-minute penalty against Hannah Goldberg, which will pretty much take us right to the end of regulation. So Mepham with the advantage. Off the curl, more contact. And we'll have a free position opportunity for Callahan, the junior midfielder with 1 goal on the season. Callahan loads up and bounces it over the shoulder of Abraham to double her production on the season. And somebody not named Honorkamp has actually scored a goal for the Pirates today.
And I believe the penalty to Goldberg is unreleasable, so she is stuck in the penalty box for pretty much the rest of this game, and Mepham will remain on the man up. So that is step number 1 to a possible comeback for the Pirates. They get goal number 5, and anything is still on the table here with just under 90 seconds left. They can get a couple face-off victories and get a couple goals, get themselves into a good offensive possession, and be looking at a whole different ball game in the next few minutes.
And that is why timing is everything in sports, especially when you pick up a late penalty and you give an offense that has been fairly quiet all of a sudden a reason to gain some confidence. But out of the draw, a win there for DeSanti, and that will go a long way to help the Bulldogs' cause here down the stretch.
Yeah, that's just such a big-time victory on the ground ball from DeSanti. It was a 50-50 draw control. It squeaked towards the far sideline, and DeSanti was Johnny on the spot, picked it up, and she establishes a possession for Roslyn, and they can hold it for pretty much the rest of this contest. So Roslyn looks like they're heading on to Garden City. Tough matchup for them. Garden City is an absolute machine when it comes to lacrosse in both genders, but Roslyn, you get the win today, and you feel good about yourself heading into a tough showdown with one of the island's best.
A team that was just 1-10 in conference play is going to get its 4th victory of the season when it counts the most, and they are going to snap a 3-game skid with the final 10 seconds about to expire, and Laskowitz giving it up with 4 seconds remaining, as that is going to do it with the final horn sounding and the celebration underway here in Roslyn, New York. The Bulldogs are moving on. The number 8 seed topping 9th seed Mepham 7-5 to earn a spot against number 1 seed Garden City. It was Gianna DeSanti leading the charge with a hat trick, and then goals from Ryan, Laskowitz, Goldberg, and Allen for a 7-5 final. As that is going to wrap up our coverage from Roslyn, New York. It has been an eventful day. It started with senior day for the boys. They beat Calhoun, and then the girls went to work. A back and forth affair early. Leah Abraham with a nifty stop. As we saw Honorkamp score not one, not two, not three, but 4 goals. Rhine joining in, as well as Laskowitz, but she was denied there. As Honorkamp continued to fill up the stat sheet to try to keep her team in the thick of things, but DeSanti, too much power behind that shot. And she and her teammates celebrating on their home field. Our executive producer, Ben Turchin, technical director, Becca Kazaks, camera operators, Tony Damaso and Mike Verdi. For Roman Brunetti, I'm Lance Meadows saying so long from Roslyn, New York. The final score 7-5 over Mepham. The Bulldogs moving on the Varsity Media Sports Network.